Well, hello. This is a quick tutorial on how to create a discussion board for your notes from Instructor to replace an editable content page for your notes from Instructor. First, let's start off with defining an editable content page. So the way that your notes from Instructor is given to you in a typical course is in a type of page called an editable content page. This is just a plain Jane page that you see here, and this is typically what you will see as an instructor when you go in to edit your notes from Instructor. You click on Edit, and you have this rich editable content toolbar, and you can put in whatever you'd like, links and that kind of thing. This should be something that you're very familiar with and have done quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into an editing phase that you don't typically aren't encouraged to access, and that's in here through the course plan. So click on course plan, and that will give you a list of all the different modules in your course. Just ignore all these down here. We're going to focus on this one right here underneath this practice module. So here you see the same content page that we just were talking about. Click on the Add button, go down here to Discussion Board, and it will give you something that looks very similar to, although you'll notice that there are some different options on the right. So we are going to title this Notes from Instructor, just like we would otherwise. But because this is not going into the gradebook, we are going to make sure that we uncheck this option right there. This will make it so that this discussion board doesn't show up anywhere in your gradebook and doesn't confuse you or your students in any sort of way to suggest that this is a required or mandatory exercise. Come down here to the option of discussion board, select that. Here you get a few options that you can look at according to how you want this to operate. The one you might want to consider the most is allowing students to create new threads. If you want to post and have students simply be able to reply to your post but not create new threads of their own, you should uncheck that. But if you want them to be able to create whatever post thread that they have interest in posting in this area, then you'd want to make sure that that's checked. Okay. Other than that, you should be good to go. We can hit Done. Now we see that we have this Notes from Instructor page showing up. Before you go back into the view mode, let's go into the Notes from Instructor from this perspective, and we'll want to uncheck Visible to Students and Visible in Table of Contents. This will make that original plain Jane page unavailable to your students so that we don't confuse them on which one they should be posting to. Click Done, click on View, and now you see in your module that you have a Notes from Instructor page instead of the plain Jane editable content page. Now keep in mind this will be in the context of your course, so this module name will be Notes from Instructor or Lesson 1 or whatever it is that the breakdown of your particular course is. We're just talking specifically about eliminating the editable content page and replacing it with a discussion board page. Now again, when you go in to edit this, you have the same rich context or rich toolbar that you typically have that you can do all kinds of different things with. Here are my notes, and you can put in whatever it is that you normally do. You can add video, pictures, links, mess with font size, bullets, any of that kind of thing, even embed video if you want to. So you can still do that at the top of this page, but once you've done that, the one advantage that you have here is now you can also add new threads, and these will go underneath the content that you add typically to your Notes from Instructor. So with that being said, you can do one of two things. You can have a questions thread. Let's just say post questions here. Post. And you could also add a second thread, post non-related class conversation ideas here. Now again, keep in mind you have full versatility and flexibility here You don't have to do 2 threads. You can just do post questions here. If you don't want or care to do the non-class related conversation ideas, that is not mandatory. Again, remember, nothing here is mandatory. You could just leave it exactly the way you're given it. You don't have to do any of this. But if you choose to change this and make this a discussion board, here are a couple of ideas that you might want to explore. I personally have often had success posting questions, course questions here. And you can, in addition to, have some of those things related to non-related course items, or you can include this second post here. Now, if you have disabled students' ability to create new threads, this will be grayed out for them, and the only thing they'll be able to do is reply to your posts. If you have not disabled that, they could potentially go in and create their own thread and go off with whatever conversation that they'd like to. So those are your options, just a couple of suggestions. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a holler, but otherwise that is how you change your editable content page into a discussion board, notes from Instructor, and good luck with that. Thank you very much.